Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars, the place where confessions you never expected and moments you'll never forget come to light. Before we dive into the moment that shook the entire industry, make sure you subscribe, tap like, and hit the join button to support us. Exclusive extras are waiting for those who want to go even deeper behind the velvet curtain. What began as a straightforward press day for a new theater production turned into a tremor that rattled every corner of the entertainment world. The cameras were rolling, the reporters were primed with questions, and Barry's Arctic seemed relaxed, grounded, and perfectly in control. He spoke about the discipline of rehearsals, about craving the live connection with an audience again, about the thrill of returning to the stage after years of screen success. Everything felt routine, measured, and almost serene. Then, casually but clearly, a reporter asked about one person, Elçin Sangu. It was just a name, but you could feel the air change. He didn't answer right away. There was a slight tilt of the head, a small breath, and a smile that wasn't for the cameras. The room leaned in. And then he said it, in a voice without theatrics but heavy with meaning, "I'm still in love with her." Elçin. No one spoke. No one moved. Even the flashes paused for half a beat as the words landed, echoing off the walls, bouncing into phones and microphones, flying through the cords and signals that feed the internet. Within minutes, the clip exploded online. That tiny pause, the softness of his tone, the way his eyes dropped for an instant, every frame was replayed, slowed down, shared, and dissected. The hashtag #Barış'Elçin shot into the top trends, and timelines flooded with edits, comparisons, and memories. For some, it was brave, a rare, unfiltered moment from a star who usually guards his private life. For others, it felt like a curveball thrown during a promotional tour, an emotional reveal that belonged somewhere quieter, somewhere less public. But by then, opinions were sprinting while the moment simply stood still, refusing to fade. To grasp why this confession hit like a tidal wave, you have to remember the genesis of their story. Barış and Elçin met on a set that changed both of their lives. Their on-screen partnership didn't just sparkle, it ignited. Chemistry like that can't be coded in a script, it's the alchemy audiences recognize instantly, the kind of connection that makes viewers believe what they're seeing might spill out beyond the frame. Rumors followed, as they always do, whispers on sets, sightings that sparked threads, smiles caught at the edge of paparazzi lenses. But nothing was ever confirmed with certainty. Their bond, whatever label you gave it, lived in glances and laughter, in behind-the-scenes moments that fans slowed down to capture and rewatch. Over time, careers accelerated, schedules diverged, new projects demanded new versions of both of them. The distance widened without anyone announcing it. There were separate paths, separate interviews, separate evolutions. Silence settled in as the noise of success got louder. For a while, it looked like that kind of story, the kind where the pages stop turning and you're left with a bookmark you never end up using again. And yet, here we are, with a single sentence waking the past like it had only been napping. Elçin Sangu's response came not through a press conference, but through something quiet and striking, an Instagram post. Hours after the interview, her feed revealed a black and white shot of an empty shoreline, endless water, a horizon stubbornly out of reach, footprints fading into wet sand. No faces, no clues, just an image and a caption that sent the internet into decoding mode. Some truths arrive without footsteps. It was a riddle shaped like an answer. Those who know her say she received the clip with a mixture of surprise and understanding, touched by its honesty, protective of her own peace, mindful of the timing and all the narratives that tend to chase them both. The industry, predictably, began to hum. Producers, platform buyers, agents, and marketers sensed a window that doesn't open very often, nostalgia mixed with renewed curiosity. Several sources say exploratory calls happened within hours. The idea isn't complicated: bring them back together on screen, harness the history, and give the audience what they've been quietly, or not so quietly, hoping for. One veteran TV marketing strategist summed it up like this: you couldn't dream up better ingredients if you tried. You've got a love story that was never owned, a separation that looked final, and now a confession that pulls the curtain open again. This isn't just casting, it's a cultural event waiting to be scheduled. Naturally, fans split into camps. Some rushed to celebrate the vulnerability in Barry's words, calling it the kind of honesty you rarely get from public figures who know every syllable will be memoed and magnified. "He said what most people bury," wrote one user. "He named it. That's courage." But others drew a gentler line, reminding everyone that love and life are complicated, that the glow of memory doesn't guarantee a new future. "Feelings are valid," another comment read, "but timing and reality matter, too. Let them be happy, separately or together." Across message boards and fan groups, people were stacking evidence, crafting timelines, re-examining interviews, and pulling meaning from moments that used to be just seconds. As the day turned into night, the clip kept moving, and the noise wouldn't settle. Perhaps sensing that wave building, Barry's posted a few lines on social media that felt like a hand on the volume knob, attempting to lower it without silencing the heart of it. "Sometimes the truth slips out before you plan it," he wrote. "I respect the paths that made me who I am, and I wish well to everyone who has walked with me." It wasn't a retraction, and it wasn't exactly a continuation. It was a bridge, something to walk across while everyone tried to figure out where the far side even was. Meanwhile, the old magic was being curated and remixed. Fan accounts unearthed behind-the-scenes laughter, quiet looks, and tiny gestures that once felt casual and now felt like dots waiting to be connected. Every interview answer, every glance at a premiere, every birthday wish posted at odd hours was back under a microscope. People were building maps of feeling out of years of fragments, treating each detail like it was a breadcrumb. Some of it was affectionate, some of it was invasive, all of it proved just how attached audiences still are to the version of Barry's and Elçin that lived in the glow of studio lights. But the most intriguing layer is the one that might still be ahead. Meetings, whispers, creative decks, nothing official, not yet. The talk is of projects that don't simply reunite them, but do it in a way that acknowledges time, distance, and who they are now. Something more than nostalgia, something with new stakes and fresh air. There's a pitch floating around, say those in the know, that leans into the tension between what's said and what's unsaid, a story where characters navigate public expectations while trying to trace their private truths. If it happens, if it lands, it could be the kind of event that briefly reorganizes the culture around it. Of course, the question no one can answer is the one that refuses to leave the center. Was that sentence a slip, a memory speaking out loud, or the outline of a new beginning? Words have a way of becoming anchors, once said. They hold you in place until you decide to lift them. Maybe it was nothing more than a human moment. One person acknowledging that a feeling didn't evaporate just because time passed. Or maybe it was a door creaking open with the quietest, most unmistakable sound. In the background, friends and colleagues try to strike a balance. They say both of them are focused, professional, protective of their boundaries. They insist no one is orchestrating a publicity stunt, that neither of them needs manufactured drama to draw attention. Yet even those closest concede that some truths linger because they're not finished teaching you what they came to teach. If art imitates life, then perhaps life sometimes follows the script art accidentally wrote. And there's the crowd, a chorus that won't be silenced. Some are begging for one more project, one more red carpet moment, one more shot of that shared electricity. Others are sending well wishes with a kind of tenderness that asks for nothing in return. It's a spectrum of hope, from loud and insistent to quiet and respectful, each voice trying to touch a story that already touched them. So what do we do with a confession like this? We hold it gently. We let it breathe. We remember that even under a spotlight, hearts are private places, and the decisions made inside them are rarely simple. If a reunion happens, it will need to honor who they've become. If it doesn't, then it will remain what it already is, a sentence that made 1,000 memories turn around and look back. We'll be watching, listening, and bringing you everything that unfolds with care. Would you want to see Barry's and Elçin standing side by side again, in a story that acknowledges the past without being trapped by it? Could you imagine them finding their way back to a set that built a legacy and then pushing beyond it into something riskier, sharper, more grown? Or should this moment be allowed to exist as a rare, unguarded truth, a line spoken once, echoing just long enough to remind everyone that some connections don't obey calendars? Tell us what you think. Drop your thoughts below. your theories, your hopes, your what-ifs. We read everything, we gather your takes, and we bring them into the conversation because this channel belongs to all of us who care about the stories behind the faces. Thank you for watching Secrets Behind the Stars. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and support us with the join button for exclusive content and deeper dives. Until the next revelation from the sparkling heart of the industry, we'll be here, looking past the headlines to the moments that actually move people, waiting for the next truth that arrives without footsteps.